inside on the trainer, which means that you're not going to like stand up for these intervals at the beginning of them, which is usually what I'll do if I do them outside. And that means that I won't put out enough, as much power at the beginning of that interval, right? So that's going to possibly hurt your chances of being able to hit the number that you need to hit for these particular intervals. And the voice inside my head, was it accurate? To some extent. Doing it inside is a little bit more difficult, doing the interval seated the entire time versus being able to stand up for a little bit of that interval, doing it outside. But once again, I had to kind of, nope, we're going to reset. I'm listening and I hear what you've had to say, but I'm going to agree to disagree, and I'm going to give myself a chance. During this workout, I'm going to just, let's see what happens. I'm excited to get this workout in and get it done. So then fast forward, I'm doing my intervals. Now, remember, I said my wife had taken my oldest daughter to something. Well, my two other kids were in the house. So they're running around while I'm doing this workout inside in the living room. Well, I had 5 of these intervals to finish off my workout with. And they came downstairs in the living room where I was doing these intervals during interval number 3. Now, interval number 3 began to get a little bit ugly. Towards the end of it, I kind of started making some noises and I was breathing heavily. And when I finished that interval, my youngest daughter was like, "Daddy, what's wrong? Why are you making those noises? Are you okay? What's happening?" And my son said, "He's okay, Lyndon. He's really tired right now. He's really tired." And she was like, "Oh, he's really tired." She's 3. "Oh, he's really tired. Okay, Daddy's really tired. All right, I get it." And so I'm taking my rest. Well, then I start my 4th interval. I've got 2 to go and I start my 4th. And as I'm doing my 4th, kind of midway through that interval, it begins to happen again. I begin to kind of struggle a little bit physically, begin to kind of wince. You can see it on my face. Making some noises, and my kids were still in the living room. And at this point, my daughter, having taken the information from the previous interval, she said, Daddy, hey, what's going on? "Oh yeah, you're tired, Daddy, you're tired. I get it. You're tired. That's why you're doing that." Well, at this point, my body and my mind took in that information from my youngest daughter, an external voice, not my own voice, and said, "Yeah, are you listening to that? You're tired, Mario. Your legs are bothering you. Your legs hurt. This is a hard interval. Are you going to finish this thing? Are you going to complete it successfully?" Right? Like all of that just onslaught, right? Like into my mind, just flooding my mind with all this negativity, making its way into my legs. And thankfully, I recognized that was going on. And I said, this is a critical moment right now when I need to turn this thing around. So I began to tell myself, no, you're not tired. No, get it together. Keep it together. Keep those legs moving. You're going to do this. You are not tired. Let's go. Right? And just things like that, just positive self-talk. And lo and behold, I finish interval number 4. And I finish it. And when I did, I didn't have that same kind of adverse reaction, pain, like all of that. The workout was still hard, okay? But it wasn't the same reaction because I captured that critical moment and I turned it around. I didn't do that during interval number 3. But I was able to do it during interval number 4. Not to say that these intervals weren't difficult. Not to say that I wasn't having to reach and stretch myself and really just battle with my body. I was. But the takeaway for this, the reason why I'm sharing about myself is because here's what I want to communicate to you guys watching this video. There's going to come a point where we've got to be aware of the fact that our minds are under attack during a workout, during our work day. Whatever it happens to be, whatever we're trying to be good at, whatever goals we're trying to achieve, whatever we're trying to be successful in, there's going to come a moment where there's a certain amount of fatigue that is setting in. And in that moment, the mind is going to take the opportunity to try and turn us against ourselves and begin saying things like, yeah, Mario, you're tired. Yeah, you don't complete this workout all the time. So on and so forth. Now, the interesting thing is being self-aware of when this is going to happen, because it won't happen. For example, during this workout, it didn't happen to me during the lower intensity part of the workout before I got into these intervals, because heart rate is semi-controlled, the effort is under my control, I'm okay. I'm still not cross-eyed from the efforts. Like, I can still think clearly. So the mind, or the negative part of my mind, my enemy in my mind, doesn't really have an opportunity there, because if it came at me during those moments of that workout, I would be able to easily just bat it off and bat it back and say, no, relax. However, it waits until I'm in my intervals. It waits until I've got that dark moment. It waits until, through no fault of her own, my daughter says something and it goes, I can use that. I can use that against him to begin to speak negatively to him. And all of a sudden, it's rock and roll. So what I want to tell us is, or what I want to communicate to you guys is, let's become more self-aware of knowing when those moments are. They're going to happen. And the interesting thing about this is, if we can be self-aware of when those moments are happening, we can turn them on their heads. See, they don't have to be negative. It can be kind of like, getting a bucket of cold water thrown on us. It can wake us up. No, wait a minute, Mario. Hey, wake up. You're not tired. Let's keep going. Let's keep working. Get on it. Get through this type of moment or type of reaction that we can have. And we can turn this thing over and we can turn this thing around. But in order to do that, we've got to have the self-awareness to know when it's happening, when our minds are under attack. So, can we do that? Can we be more self-aware? Can we capture more of those moments? We're not going to win every single time. It is something that gets better the more that we practice it, like with anything. However, the first step is recognizing when that's actually happening. And interval number 5, to finish things off, went as planned. Got it done. So that one rough spot during 3 was the one that kind of just kicked everything into high gear and allowed me to complete that workout successfully. Not that intervals 4 or 5 that I looked pretty and ready for a photo shoot, but the work did get done. All right, folks, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and get this out to people. If you're watching this on Instagram, then thank you for tuning in to the Instagram, IGTV. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'd love to hear maybe some victories that you've had in some moments here lately where you've been self-aware and you've recognized, hey, I'm under attack and I've got to turn this thing around. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time.